Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely fascinating. We are talking about the secret plants, the hidden agricultural gold mines that are literally turning perfectly ordinary plots of land into extraordinary wealth. You know, while a lot of traditional folks are out there struggling with the usual staple crops that honestly barely pay the bills these days, there's this quiet movement of smart farmers tapping into crops so powerful they're completely rewriting the rules of the game. So we're going to break down exactly what these crops are, why they work so incredibly well, and the specific strategies you need to know about them.
It sounds a bit like an infomercial, right? What if a single acre could make you richer than you ever dreamed? But as we'll see today, for the people who actually know where to look, it's a proven reality. We're going to explore 6 completely unique crops today, each with its own backstory and massive benefits. Oh, and you're going to want to pay very close attention to crop number 6. It is so highly sought after, it has literally turned modest everyday farmers into millionaires.
So, let's be real for a second, and look at the fundamental difference here. Traditional farming often traps people in this vicious, exhausting cycle. You grow the same common crops as everybody else, you flood the market, and obviously that depresses the prices to a point where you're barely scraping by. But hidden crops, they completely flip that equation on its head. They have this niche, but rapidly exploding global demand. Because the supply out there is so limited, these crops command serious premium prices. We're talking enormous earning potential.
All right, let's jump right into Act 1, the scalable superfoods.
So these first crops are totally riding the massive wave of global health trends we're seeing everywhere. Our first hidden crop is the goji berry. People call it the superfood treasure, and honestly, it fits. These tiny red fruits have an absolutely enormous global reputation. They're packed with antioxidants, vitamins, you name it. Goji berries have become a total staple in the health food world. We're talking smoothies, teas, premium supplements, even high-end beauty products. The demand has just exploded over the last decade. And unlike your run-of-the-mill fruits, goji berries are basically a direct bridge into incredibly lucrative global markets.
But the real secret here is on the farming side. Get this. Once they're established, goji bushes can live and produce fruit for over 20 years. 20 years. That is a phenomenal long-term investment. A single bush yields hundreds of berries a season, and you can actually harvest them twice a year. Plus, they require minimal watering if you got well-drained soil. If a farmer takes the time to prune carefully and hand-pick the fruit, they can easily pull in tens of thousands of dollars a year, even on a really small plot of land.
Now here's where it gets really clever. The secret to this kind of wealth often isn't just selling the raw harvest. It's all about value-added products. So drying the berries makes them store for months, which is great for shipping, but farmers are taking it a step further, turning them into powders for supplement companies or fancy jams and infused drinks for boutique grocery stores. By just applying a little creativity and processing the raw crop, farmers are drastically increasing their profit margins. It's a totally brilliant way to multiply the value of what's coming out of the dirt.
Moving right along to our second superfood, stevia. This stuff is quite literally nature's liquid gold. It's a natural sweetener, but it's hundreds of times sweeter than regular sugar. Hundreds. And as the whole world aggressively shifts toward healthier sugar alternatives, the demand for stevia has just gone through the roof. What makes it a dream for farmers is how incredibly tough it is. It thrives in all sorts of climates and is super low maintenance, making it a highly sustainable, really high-margin play.
1,000. That is the number of kilograms of dried leaves a single hectare of stevia can yield every single year. Because stevia can be harvested multiple times annually, the cash flow is continuous. You aren't just crossing your fingers and sweating over one stressful single-season harvest. It provides amazing financial stability. And just like with the goji berries, when you process those leaves into high-priced extracts, you're opening the door to massive international buyers.
Which brings us to Act 2, speed and utility. Meet crop number 3, the dragon fruit, also known as pitaya. I mean, this thing captures your attention the second you see it, right? It's got that crazy vibrant pink skin and dotted flesh. It looks like it's from another planet. That exotic appearance alone drives intense demand in trendy urban markets and high-end restaurants. But here's the best part. It grows on a cactus. That means it completely thrives in dry, low-water environments where your traditional crops would literally wither and die.
And the turnaround time on this is mind-blowing. You can take completely dry, otherwise unproductive land, plant these cacti, build some really simple vertical supports to maximize your space, and you are harvesting within 6 to 12 months. You aren't waiting years to see a dime. With 2 or 3 harvests a year, an acre of these vines can easily yield tens of thousands of dollars. It literally transforms barren, overlooked land into a rapid cash generator.
Next up is crop number 4, moringa. People call this the miracle tree, and it is an absolute masterclass in utility. It's like the Swiss Army knife of plants. The leaves, packed with protein and vitamins, perfect for premium supplements. The seeds are used for high-value oil extraction, and get this, even water purification. And the pods, they're called drumsticks, are wildly popular in a ton of culinary dishes. So one fast-growing, drought-resistant tree gives you multiple, continuous streams of income. Actually, you can harvest the leaves every few weeks without even hurting the tree.
All right, now we are entering the big leagues. Act 3, the high-skill premiums.
These next crops have massive barriers to entry, which is exactly why they pay out so huge. Crop number 5 is wasabi, the Japanese gold. Now look, most of us know that cheap, green-dyed horseradish paste you get with your takeout sushi. But authentic, real wasabi? It's incredibly rare and notoriously difficult to grow. And because it's so rare, the genuine stuff sells to specialty markets and elite restaurants for hundreds of dollars per kilogram. Per kilogram! That makes it one of the most lucrative crops on the planet per square foot.
So why is it so expensive? Because it is incredibly picky. To grow real wasabi, you need pristine, clean, cold flowing water. You need heavy shade. You need perfectly consistent humidity. And above all, you need immense patience because you're often waiting months or even years for a mature harvest. Very few farmers can actually pull this off. And that extreme difficulty is exactly what keeps the supply almost non-existent and the prices sky high.
But the farmers who do grow high-skill crops like wasabi use another genius strategy to boost their income: agro-tourism. Because growing it is such a unique and fascinating process, they actually invite enthusiasts in for educational tours and fresh tastings. This isn't just about selling a $20 ticket, it builds this massive brand prestige that elevates the perceived value of the product. They turn their farm into a literal destination. It's brilliant. All right, here we go. The moment you've been waiting for. Crop number 6, saffron, the red gold. Guys, this isn't just a spice. It is a literal fortune waiting to be harvested. It thrives in hot, arid lands with lots of sun and well-drained soil, and amazingly, it's practically immune to the typical pests that destroy normal crops. It is, without a doubt, one of the most lucrative spices on the face of the earth. But here's the catch, and the exact reason it commands such jaw-dropping prices: $75,000. Let that number sink in. That is the number of individual crocus flowers a farmer needs to harvest to produce just 1 single pound of saffron. And the delicate little red threads inside each flower, they have to be carefully picked entirely by hand. The timing has to be flawless, usually picked right in the early morning dew, or the quality and the price just plummet. That insane level of labor-intensive precision is why a single pound can easily sell for well over $1,000. When a farmer actually masters that delicate timing and then smartly packages their saffron for direct sales or export, the results are completely staggering. Some small-scale farmers report turning just 1 single acre into over $50,000 a year. No way you're doing that with corn or wheat, right? That level of income completely transforms an ordinary dusty field into an absolute goldmine.
Let's wrap things up with our final section: strategies for agricultural wealth.
Look, farming does not have to mean breaking your back for pennies if you're willing to shift your mindset. The blueprint for modern farming wealth really boils down to 3 main steps. First, you've got to deeply understand these specific, sometimes super demanding growth cycles of these niche plants. Second, you have to get creative, make those value-added products like extracts or set up agrotourism to multiply your margins. And third, you completely bypass the massive, cheap commodity markets and connect directly with high-value buyers. These hidden crops aren't just plants. They are literal gateways to financial independence. They prove that with the right dedication, the right knowledge, and a bit of vision, perfectly ordinary land can yield extraordinary fortunes. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought for today's explainer. If you had the land, which of these hidden crops would you plant to grow your fortune? Thanks for hanging out with me today, Focused Learners, and I will catch you in the next one.